I don't think that you have here in front of you somebody who was with the books all day, etc., etc. I want to tell you I was the black sheep of the family. It was his and his way of thinking, and that's it. I will tell you another thing to show you how he was. He sent all the grandchildren of the family, he paid for their education abroad. Except whoever goes to America. From growers, from pickers, we became gamblers. I mean, it's a joke. Enjoy life while you can. That's my motto, within reason.
Yeah. I'm Farah Shamas. Welcome to Hotel Talk. We hope you enjoy listening to this friendly conversation between people connected by real life in hotels. Welcome back, everyone, to another amazing episode of Hotel Talk. And today I have with us a character, to say the least, a very, very good family friend and someone dear to my heart, Mr. Dimi Mavropoulos. He is I think needs no introduction, but for those of you who may be listening from abroad or don't know him, I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell us about his love for cars, farming, nature, Cyprus, Carnival, and so much more. So Dimi, welcome. Thank you so much for being on Hotel Talk.
Good morning to everybody, and thanks for inviting me. I don't know where to start. I'm 73 years old, and they've tried to make a book, and the person who tried to make a book about my life gave up and said we need 8 books and 8 volumes, so I cannot go really all the way because we need a day.
And now we're going to try and sum it up in a few minutes.
Good morning again, and I'm very happy. I just learned that you are doing this, and I want to congratulate you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you very much for inviting me.
And I'm so excited that this is your first podcast experience.
The very first.
It's amazing.
Other radios, they invite me for a specific, for rallying, for this, for that, but a general one, no.
I love this. I love this. It will be like, this is your life, or as much of it as we can.
Yes.
So let's start at the beginning. We'll go back to the beginning and start with easy questions to answer. Where were you born? Who were your parents? And tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Right. I was born in Limassol, and my father is Greek from Egypt, and my mother is Greek from Izmir. But half Greek, half English. And my father's side was half Egyptian, half Cypriot. So I was lucky to be born in Limassol because I love Limassol, and I think Limassol should be the capital of Cyprus. Thank you very much. And I say that because Limassol provides everything everyone needs in life, from Carnival, from Yorti Cresciu, the wine festival. All the events are happening in Limassol, and we should be the capital. And I'm saying to everybody, especially from Nicosia, that we are the capital.
But I think in many activities we are considered, and a lot of people know. Maybe not for the government.
The government should stay in Nicosia. I agree. And the embassies, etc., etc.
But it's so funny for those who aren't from Cyprus. I think I remember when I was at university, everybody laughing because, anyone from Cyprus, there's always this internal war, guys, if you don't know. So it's like, oh, you're from Nicosia. We're better from Limassol. No, we're better. We're from Larnaca. No, Paphos. Yes. And so we're always laughing, but especially the Limassolians, we're very, very proud of our lovely, lovely city. And I think
Limassol has a bad side of it. All the Limassolians, they are the people who don't care a lot. They are the people who they do all the festivities and they enjoy them. And they are the crazy Cypriot.
This is a reputation.
Reputation. But deep down, we are more welcoming people than the Limassolians. every other city in Cyprus. Sorry, I push Limassol.
There we go. We love it. Limassol is the best, everyone. So you've heard it from the horse's mouth. So how did your parents end up in Cyprus then? I mean, with this mixed background.
Okay, refugees from the massacre of the Armenian massacre in Izmir. They brought them, the British government brought all the family, Bottomley family, which was an English family, in Larnaca. And my father lost his parents and came to his uncle Lanitis because my grandmother is from Lanitis family. But
which is a very, very well-known family.
Yes, she married Mavropoulos from Egypt, who was a very, very rich guy. And when he lost her, he committed suicide.
Oh.
Yes. So my father was alone. So his uncle brought him over, put him to the farms. No, sent him to American Academy. And that's where he met my mother.
Oh.
And that's me.
School.
That's the product.
That's the product. I love it. I love this. You're like me. It took 4 nations to build us, and then another country that we lived in. So that's what I say. We're the product of globalization. Yes, the cocktail children. Okay. So your parents, it was the love affair from young. They were living in Limassol, and then how did they end up farming? Okay, the uncle.
Yes,
from the Lanitis family,
yes,
he gave them the land or put them on the land? What happened?
No, Lanitis was the creator of the Lanitis farm and basically everything else.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any children. So my father was his sister's child, but never gave anything. They built the farm together.
Yeah.
And at 40, my father left. And he started his own by importing big tractors and started to be a contractor of cultivating land which was not easy to plow with the mules or horses or anything else.
Yeah, traditional farming methods.
So he became a contractor with 2 caterpillars, which are, I have them.
You still have them?
They are in the museum.
Yeah.
Working, painted, and my big picture of my father, because those two tractors made us.
Yeah. So, and the land was already your father's, or he bought it?
He was buying land all the time.
Okay.
And at that time, he was a contractor, so he would go to a farmer. He would the farmer couldn't pay him to make the land
arable, useful.
So he was giving him half to do the other half.
Yeah.
Be able to grow trees or.
It's the age-old principle, isn't it?
That's
right. Modern contractors do that now. I've got the land, you build it for me, and then we'll divide the flats or whatever.
The whole Pissouri was, with the grapes, was all cultivated and given to these Pissourians farmers. All the land, they couldn't do anything with it. So he even planted them the Sultana grapes.
Yeah. Because it is marshland, isn't it? I mean, majority, yeah. That's amazing. So he started off like that. And then, of course, you guys are growing citrus as well.
Yes. Then my father bought other land. And we are what we are. Now, let's go back to my youth.
Yes, please. I love going back to the beginning.
I don't think that you have here in front of you somebody who was with the books all day, etc., etc. I want to tell you I was the black sheep of the family. If they told me, don't drink Coca-Cola anymore, I would go and drink 10 Coca-Colas.
You're the rebel.
I was a rebel. And schools, my father was fed up and my mother changing schools because they used to
kick you out.
Kick me out. And they used to call me Trouble Dimi.
I love it. Now that could be a book on its own.
They even sent me to Nicosia at boarding school. And after 1 year, the monks there packed me and sent me back. Because they found out what I was doing during the last year from the students during the summer, which they were staying and being what do you call borders.
Mm-hmm.
So they spoke what I was doing during the week, during the whole year. So when I went back,
they said, no.
Yeah, they kept the taxi there and they put me back and they sent me to my father. So, okay, that's not a good example, but I'm telling you what
definitely memorable. So my question now to you is, what made you like that? Why were you a rebel? What was it that, was it an attention thing?
No.
Did your parents love it really and find it funny? Did you like being different? Like, what was it then that?
That's a good question. I was not, I had my own mind and my own way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I used to see my mother buying from a greengrocer at that time, no supermarket or anything, tomatoes and potatoes. Next to the house, there was an acre of land. So what I did, I put potatoes, seeds, I put tomato seeds, and I used to sell it to my mother.
Brilliant, an entrepreneur.
And I used to count the tomatoes. And if she used one, I would come from school, measure, count the tomatoes and say, Mama, you took 2 tomatoes for our salad. And I used to have a paper. And at the end of the week, I was getting paid.
I love this.
Also,
I love the entrepreneurial side.
I was selling lemons to all the neighborhood. I had a basket, like coffin, we call them in Cyprus, on the bike, tied up. And I used to go around selling lemons, 5 for a shilling or 5 for a sixpence, you know what it was then. And and they used to tell me, why you didn't come yesterday? You know, the housewives.
Yeah. That's so nice.
So that shows you a little bit, you know.
But I'm always interested in the why. Is it because you saw your dad with commerce, because you grew up with that?
Very strict.
Okay.
For instance, on the table, we couldn't start eating until he said the blessing.
Yeah.
And God blessed us if we put more food on the table, on the plate, and left it.
Yeah.
He would say to my mom, take it back and tonight bring it out.
Yeah.
He didn't want waste, obviously, because my mother and my father passed wars. So automatically, food was something with value, and you don't waste it. And always says, put what you want, put twice, but not put, you know. So we were very strict. We couldn't talk on the table. He was like a patriarch. You know, we were waiting for him to start. You know, that was, and we all had to drink the Murnellio, the fish cod oil, but not the one you buy from the pharmacist. The one the pharmacist used to bring a barrel, and when you open the bottle, the whole house used to smell fish. That's why I cannot eat fish. I don't eat fish in my life because I remember.
I think all your family are not fish eaters.
And Nicolas
doesn't eat fish. Yes,
the same thing because Nicolas' father did exactly the same. With the cod liver oil.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ah, interesting.
I went to all the creme de la creme of Limassol. Didn't go to a national school, Δημοτικό. They went to the Lanitis, the Athinaïdion, which was only girls. So Kostas Lanitis, Platon Lanitis, Marios Lanitis, Solomonidis, all the cream of Cyprus, the Galatariotis people. We were all in a school which was not a school. It was our anti-school. And we all had to have extra lessons in the evening to catch up where we were going for the gymnasium because we were not prepared there.
Okay.
We had calligraphy. Every day, calligraphy. You know, do you understand? So we were all with extra afternoon
lessons. Yeah.
Anyway,
so it was quite a tough regime
for all our families,
which is probably why you wanted to then just be different and be yourself and kind of explode into uniqueness afterwards.
And from then, I had a love of cars. When I was 5, I had a box which I cut and made a garage. And at night, I would say goodnight to all my dinky toys or Borgie toys, take them out, say goodnight, and put them back by kissing them.
Oh,
you know. Do you understand?
5 years old.
Yes, 5 years old. So always.
And where did that come from? Was there someone who you met, or you saw an amazing car, or you?
No. I was always attracted to the machinery.
Okay.
I would walk to school, and if there was an excavator making a plan, making a piece of land for building a house, I would stop there, don't go to school, and watch the process, you know.
Yeah, and the machinery and the mechanisms.
You know, and when I was 8, I was working at the farm, cultivating our own. He was not allowing us and my brother, me and my brother, because when there was when we had to go with the school to an excursion, we were not allowed to go with the buses. We would go to the farm to work. Because he said it's a waste of time and I need... And I was...
So proper old school,
I was at the farm, couldn't start the tractor, because at the time the tractor was starting with a wind-up handle. And somebody would start it, and I was on the tractor with the crawler, not the tractor with tires at the time. And I loved it.
Yeah.
And that's how I loved machinery.
So, okay, we're talking a bit about, I've got here love for cars, and then of course your museum, but we'll go on to that because then I don't want to jump too far forward. So you went to study in the UK.
I went to study at the London School of Economics.
How did you get in LSE, having moved so many different schools?
I managed with just the passing mark.
Okay.
Don't think I got it. It was all C's and some D's.
And you still managed?
I got it.
Okay.
Don't forget it was easier at the time because no computers, no anything. You could make an essay, what do you call it?
An essay,
and get somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah.
And, like get it happens down. Yes, get some help on the side and, very nice, etc.
And also it just goes to show, that's what I used to always say when I was a student as well. I mean, what do you need? Like, it's great to be straight A's and everything else if that's your priority. But that was my point as well when I was younger. Like, I also wanted to have a life. I also wanted to see my friends. And so what did I need to get to the next stage?
Yes.
If it was a B, okay, great. I'll just get a B. And then I'll go out on Friday night and see my friends. So have a bit of a balance. And I think that applies to life now. You can do all of one thing.
That's right.
But you can also do many things and then have more of a balance. So, yeah, I love that.
I was the lowest on gymnasium, 11.2 or something out of 20.
But you still passed the entrance, So, and I'm sure you weren't the lowest because of your capability. No, because of your brain.
No, I didn't.
Just because you didn't apply yourself and you weren't bothered. Yes. So you went to LSE and you studied?
I studied. I worked on a Wimpy in the evening.
Okay, like the hamburger joint.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was Wimpy's then.
Yeah, Wimpy. I remember Wimpy.
Do you remember Wimpy?
Yeah, Wimpy was around in the 90s. It went on until
70.
It still went
68.
on.
It was Wimpy's the first. We went to Wimpy's
I'm sure
to get
it started, but then it was around until.
Yes.
Then we're going to double check this after the podcast, but I remember Wimpy's.
Yes.
Yeah, as a child.
And there I was a waitress, a
Mhm.
waiter,
Mm-hmm.
with other waitresses, etc. And I made a team of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and we could make more money than what they were giving us.
How?
Okay,
Ah!
I will tell you. I would go to you,
Yeah.
and you said, I want eggs and bacon with sausage.
Mm-hmm.
So the chef will not put sausage and will not put bacon and will put a piece of cheese, let us say. I would bring it to the table and you will say, sorry, I didn't order that. Oh, I'm very sorry. Take it back. Nobody was throwing it. So the next guy would come. I will push the bacon and the thing, and we used to sell without going through
The till.
the till.
My goodness.
So we
Cheeky.
Yes,
So-
it was. Look, it was something which was done.
Yeah.
You know,
But okay, so again, now I go back to the
Yes,
whys.
commerce.
The whys.
Yes.
So okay, the commerce there. You were from a wealthy family.
yes, but my father
But your
was
dad was so
very
strict. So he
Yes.
wasn't sending you money.
No,
He wasn't.
he
Yeah.
was sending me the money
that you
I
needed.
required,
Yeah.
and also when he first found out I have a car, he says, "How did you buy a car?"
Mm.
You know how I did buy a car? I'm not ashamed to say it. I bought a toolbox,
Mhm.
and during the evening, I used to go and open the bonnets of the cars outside the street because the car park street, it was then obvious. Every, you had a park outside the house. So I would open the bonnet because at the time the bonnets used to open from the front.
Mm.
I would change, let us say, the wires. And in the morning, you would go to pick up your car to go to work and it wouldn't start. So you knew I was the mechanic of the street and you would say to me,
Can you come and help me?
please, there is the keys. Can you look up, And I started to
You would
be the
fix it.
mechanic of the street. And then slowly, I used to have servicing in the street. I used to be, and then I
you
bought a
get
car.
paid, and then
And yes,
yeah.
I bought a car.
So actually, you've got a lot to thank your dad's strictness for. That it made you
Yes.
resourceful,
Yes,
entrepreneurial. Did it make you resentful?
not at all.
Not at all, huh?
Not at all.
I asked that with no judgment, let's talk about, yeah.
That was his
Yeah.
and his way of thinking, and that's it. I will tell you another thing to show you how he was. He sent all the grandchildren of the family, he paid for their education abroad,
Yeah.
except whoever goes to America.
Oh.
So
You-
Sylvie and Samantha
Yeah.
went to BU.
Yeah.
He
Two of your
didn't pay
daughters.
1 cent.
Why?
He didn't like to go and get educated in America because America was not a good education for Europe.
Okay.
It's a big market.
Okay.
You think that you know.
That was his
And
principles, his beliefs.
Stephanie, he paid Brighton University everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Accommodation, everything. Nicholas, Stamatis, everybody, he paid.
So he was a believer in education.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say that what he believed,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't change his mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So strictness was always there.
Yeah. And I think it's that generation because
Yes.
my grandparents as well. I mean, they especially my German grandfather, who like your dad
And
went through a war. Was also a refugee from Germany and ended up in England. And yeah, same thing. My
Yes.
mum grew up. If there was one even potato left on the plate,
you would eat it,
you would eat it for dinner. And if you didn't eat it at dinner, you had it for breakfast, and it would go on. Yeah.
This is
Until you finished
this
that,
is
whatever it was.
3 days.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you wanted to be stubborn, you just didn't eat anything else.
Yes.
And yeah. And
Okay, our mothers used to feed us afterwards.
But it was the values. And also I think there's a lot to be said for that now. Or especially one of my favorite topics that I'm known for in the hotel is sustainability,
Yes.
and then really reducing food waste and, appreciating the energy and the resources that go into making every single thing on our plate and not wasting.
That's right.
And there's a lot of talk about this now, but it's like we've had to, revert back. If we went back, not that long, a few decades, this was the principle. It's like
That's right.
nothing,
That's right.
nothing was wasted. We weren't even allowed, from my grandmother, as little girls, we had our long hair, we'd brush our hair, and that hair is on a brush, and we'd never take that and put it in a bin. That had to go, open the windows, throw it outside. And the birds, we would watch them come and get it, and they would use it for their nest.
For their nest, yes, of course. Yes.
She was like, everything has a purpose.
Way, yes,
yeah.
yes.
So, it's really interesting. Okay, so you went, you studied, you got your degree.
I got my degree,
Yeah.
and then
And your degree, was in?
was London School of Economics.
No, but
economics.
It was in
At
economics.
that
So
time
you
was
didn't do
economics.
engineering.
I must know.
No?
But I
Okay.
must tell you that the London School of Economics then was a left wing. And I
Establishment,
remember
okay.
Kostas Lanidis,
Yeah.
my cousin, who was doing politics because his father wanted him to be
Yeah. Involved. Yeah.
involved in that. And he became a Marxist. And he came and saw my uncle and said to my uncle, and he said one day, I don't want any, I am,
Yeah.
one for all and all for one,
Yeah.
the communist, slogan.
Yeah.
And my uncle called me and says, look, please, I want to buy him a car. I want to buy him a good car. Can you buy it and do something, help me? Because he didn't even want the BMW.
Yeah.
He wanted to buy a second-hand car because of the school.
Yeah. Of that train of thought.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. So then what did you do after that?
After that, while I was at school, I must tell you, I had a friend who his father was growing watermelons in Greece.
Okay.
So I said,
I was going to say, not in England. Yeah.
So I said to him, tell him to send us a lorry. And we will sell it. So a lorry arrived. At that time, we didn't have telephones. I used my telecommunications from the booth next to the house. The telephone booth.
Literally
And
the
I would-
telephone. And they were the reds.
Yes,
with
and
the little windows.
because I didn't want to hear the beep, 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 beep until I put the money.
Yeah.
I used to call, put the money, so the beep, beep, beep finished.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the money was carrying on, so they don't know I'm calling from a
telephone booth, yeah.
booth. Anyway, the lorry arrived,
Amazing.
and I didn't know where to put watermelons. So I went opposite. There was a big park in Battersea Park, and there was a dry lake. So I said to the guy, I want to put some watermelons for 2-3 days in the lake. I will cover them and I will sell them, and you have some money. So I unloaded all the things.
Who's the guy? Like
the guy, the garden, the head
yeah.
of the park.
This is hilarious.
So
they must have thought, who is this crazy Cypriot guy?
Imagine like your swimming pool,
Yeah.
full of watermelons. When I went to Kensington, like Hertz, like Avis, we got some money, and we went hired. And I went to all Camden Town, Kentish Town, all where the Greeks were.
Yeah.
And we sold them in a week. So I won't forget that we've made clear 200 pounds. But 200 pounds then was a lot of money.
A lot of money.
In 69, 70. Then I ordered another one. And the man with the park said, look, I'm going to lose my job. Somebody is going to, he said, find another way. So I went and hired a small
warehouse,
and we brought 8 of these lorries. His father was paid very well, and we made the money, but we were selling them on the back of a van all day.
This is hilarious.
Okay,
Oh my goodness. Do you
and-
have a picture of that? I'd love to see a picture of you.
Pictures were not very easy
I
like
know,
now.
in London with, in 1970 with
Yes,
watermelons.
Yes, and
Brilliant.
a lot of people used to stop and say, "Can we have half?"
Yeah,
Of course, we used to cut half
yeah,
and charge them for the whole.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you remember, you don't remember that you used to buy a watermelon piece already cut with a plastic film on it.
Yeah,
And you used to have it fruit for after your lunch.
yeah,
We don't accept this in Cyprus. We have
yeah,
half it,
yeah.
Anyway, that's how I started. And I started a small office importing stuff from Greece through my friend, who his father was apricots. I used to get apricots.
Mm.
And my office was in the back of a kitchen of another office. And there was a telephone with a booth inside the kitchen. So people would talk, and I was sitting like I'm sitting here. And I was spending my whole day there selling fruit to the markets everywhere.
And what about your dad's fruits? I mean, your
No,
family.
my dad's fruit was consigned
Yeah,
to their,
yeah, yeah, yeah. To
and then
own
some
supply
people
chain.
came to meet my father
Mhm.
and say every year they used to come and they said, "Your son is doing very well. We are taking fruit from your son." And my father said, "My son? My son is studying." Okay. So he says, "No, Tim is your son, no? He gives us apricots from Greece. He does whatever." So then you had to book a telephone to talk abroad. So they ring me up in this telephone and they said, "You will be at 8:00 being called from Cyprus." You had to book it, So my father gets on and he says, "Why you don't tell me this? Why you don't?" And I said, "I'm afraid because you think that everybody's a failure." So he says, "Why you don't ask me to send you some fruit of our fruit?"
That's what I was just saying, yeah.
"And Papa, if you want to know, the fruit goes to Alfred Price. That's a big company. He sells it at so much. And I went and bought some of our fruit at more money than when you get paid."
And what did he say?
And he says, "Okay, I'm coming to London." So I didn't know he was coming to London to kill me. He was coming to London. So I went to pick
congratulate you.
I went to pick him with an old Cortina, which was my first car. And he says, "Is this your car?" "Yes." So we sat down at the Waldorf Hotel in London. And he says, "Right, we will start an office and our fruit will come to you direct, all of it, and you sell it." And then I set an office, and slowly, I had an international office bringing from Mexico, bringing avocados from South Africa, from Egypt, bringing the beans, the stringy beans.
Yeah.
And then I was buying from Lebanon for 21 days most of the big black cherries by air with MEA.
Wow.
And I was making, because for me, they are the best. Whoever says anything, for me, they are the best cherries, the black, the big.
Yeah.
And I even went down there and I've made them to smaller packages rather than 5 kilo. I've made 2.5 kilo because it's more easily sellable.
Yeah.
And for 20 years, I had all Lebanon selling me the cherries.
So how long did you do that business for?
30 years.
30 years.
Yes. And then when the children started to grow up, the living in London is very, very nice, but not for having a family.
Mm.
And I persuaded Penny, and she agreed, thank God. And we came to Cyprus, all of us, despite the fact that we were not together.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no animosity, and we are, in very
Yes,
good
this is
terms,
with your
as you know.
ex-wife, yeah.
So they went to Follies, finished Follies, and now the grandchildren are going to Follies.
Yeah, I know. We see them there.
So, and then I had 19 people working in Covent Garden. I had my own offices, shipping. I was chartering aircraft. I was chartering ships. And then I opened an office in Sweden for the northern countries, which was very, very difficult at the time. And it lasted 2 years. The expenses were more than what,
And your dad kept supplying you.
full.
And-
I was selling everything.
And he
And-
must have been very proud of you.
He was proud, but he wouldn't show it.
He wouldn't say it, I guess.
I would tell him, Papa, we have to sell the grapes because they're already 1 week. We have to sell them because the grape will sell us. No, keep them. No, I order you. It's my grapes. Leave them in the cold store. So what I used to do, I used to say, okay. I used to sell them. And then the prices would go, when we finished with the product, will go more down. And as he said, keep them because the market will go up. Papa said, the market will not go up because it's already brown, the grapes, which they were not there anyway.
Yeah.
And then he says, when I sold them and I showed him the sales, he says, thank God you listened to me. That was my father.
Yeah.
My father would sit here and say to you, it's nighttime outside. And at 7 o'clock, when it's time, he will tell you, let's go out to see that this is night. But, that was it. The old.
Yeah. And that's what makes everyone unique
right.
and different. And we love everyone. Well, many people at least for being like that. So you came back to Cyprus. You still obviously had your love for cars. Tell us a little bit about how that little 5-year-old who kissed his cars goodnight ended up, that continued lifelong fascination for cars transpired into collecting, to driving, rallies,
first driving,
collecting, and then opening a museum.
Yes.
So let's have this chapter.
The museum was an aftermarket because I've stopped being a professional driver.
Okay.
But I must say, my father always used to say, again, I call my father because he left something in our life. Always. He was saying that if I didn't go for this rally this weekend, anywhere in Europe, the prices on Monday would have been better because you are not there,
Yeah.
And when the television was saying anything, he used to switch off the television because he didn't want even my mother to see that I've won and I am, he didn't want. And always he said it's his fault because he pushed me to work on the tractors, cultivating, etc.
So he blamed himself for your love of cars.
Yes.
So he didn't really approve of it.
No.
No.
But the people, when they found him and they said, "Oh, congratulations, Mr. Mavropoulos, your son won the championship." "Oh, yes, thank you very much." And he would not, you could tell,
Yeah. So how did you get into rallies?
From 15 years old, I had a license, which it was not mine. I copied my sister's license. That's why my name is D-I-M-I, because I didn't want anybody to know who I am.
You mean Dimi as opposed to calling yourself Dimitrios?
Dimitrios.
Yeah.
And I was DM.
Okay.
And because Mary, my sister, her driving license, which I took the picture out, put a stamp like the other one, made a stamp from the government.
Yeah.
I false.
Yeah.
And put it there, and everybody thought that I was older. So I was winning, and nobody realized that I'm 15 years
You're
old.
only 15.
And the English then were organizing all the rallies, so there was no proof.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And when you see somebody who is doing well and beats the old school and this and that, why
They
should
didn't
you
question
deprive?
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, who is driving this car? Me, and them. You know, instead of I could have put Achilles or I could have put Poseidon or somebody like that. No, I put DM.
So, but where did you get the cars from? How did you get to know about it? I mean, how did it all happen?
Car.
Okay.
And
so you, at the time, you could use any car.
Yes, it was not so, you know.
Yeah.
And my mother's car, it came first 3 times. And then
your mommy knew.
Everybody knew.
Yeah.
You know. But they didn't understand a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've started, and then I started getting drives. People could see that there is a talent. And here I am. And then when
having
I went
won
to London,
so many. How many have you won?
Oh, a lot. I have taken 482 starts on rallies.
Wow.
In all my career.
Yeah.
And there is records still not beaten with the today's cars.
That's amazing.
Because today's cars are completely different. Probably I couldn't drive a today car.
Yeah.
Because it's computerized.
Yeah.
It does a lot which we have to do ourselves.
And in all of this and everything you've achieved, okay, we spoke about your father, but your mom, was she very proud?
My mom was very proud. And she would go, somebody would tell her, go to that bridge, he will pass. And then all of a sudden I see my mother on the bridge alone to do this to me, you know. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I presume you're very close with your mom as well.
I was, yes.
Yeah. And then God gave you lots of daughters.
That's another
whole chapter now, Paige. Let's talk about being a father of girls.
4 girls.
Of 4 lovely girls, all beautiful girls.
There were a lot of problems at home. And one of the biggest problems that the toilet seat had to be always up for me. Because all the girls wanted to sit down. And you could never see on the line outside of the washing line any of my clothes. It was all
girly clothes. Pinks and frills and bows.
But having not have a son, I don't know. But I must say to you, and I must say to anybody, that I would have liked to have a son, but a son to be like me, because if he was not following me, it would be terrible between me and him.
You might have fought.
Yes.
And you could foresee that.
Angela, the 4th daughter I have, she loves cars, but she's more artistic in the sense that she wants to be an actor. So she's in LA, and she waits to become the new Sophia Loren or
of this generation.
Yes.
That's interesting you say that and admit that. And
the other 3 girls are all artistic.
Yeah.
Stephanie, she works for the BBC. What do you call that? Samantha, she's in Paris working for David Blaine, you know, the magician. She married in Paris last year. And Sylvie has boutiques.
Yeah,
you know,
clothes and also creative. Yes. Yeah, and I think all your girls are close to you, and we
are a very close family. Also with Penny, my ex-wife, it's
Good relationship.
very good relation.
Yeah.
Very good relation.
Yeah, which is really important and admirable because
Yes.
that's what everybody wants.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think everything happens for a reason. So I
Sure.
think you had girls and not this son that maybe in this part of the world, a lot of people, definitely men sometimes want. I remember when I was having, I think both my girls, I was told, Embirazi.
Yes.
Never mind. When I was
Yes.
telling people I was having a girl.
Yes.
But I think that is changing, and it's definitely something that I very much advocate for, equality, and that girls, we can do everything that boys can do. We can drive the cars, and we can fight with our dads just like a son would.
Sure.
So yeah, let's talk casino. Tell us a little bit about the casino, which is
Okay. I will
opening
tell
now
you,
in Limassol, and a lot of
opening,
people are really excited about.
I've just heard today we are not opening in June.
Okay. And your connection, because for people listening, they won't know the connection,
Right.
the land, what has happened.
Okay,
Yeah.
the family, my father bought shares in the Fasuri plantation.
Mm-hmm.
We have 41% of the Fasuri plantation. And Mr. Melisha Colas, or the NKS, has 56. And the rest is small people who have 2, 3, 10, whatever.
Yeah.
So we are the second major shareholders, and we went with all the companies to try and give them land, etc. And we succeeded by not selling the land. Everybody else who came from abroad to start the casino or bid for the casino license, everybody in Cyprus wanted to sell to them the land.
Mm.
So when we realized with Mr. Shakolas that, wait a minute, everybody's failing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wanted to sell and get out.
Yeah.
We decided to go in, give them the land, and get shares for what the land worth.
Mm-hmm.
This is it.
Yeah.
So from growers, from pickers, we became gamblers. I mean, it's a joke. I don't even know.
At least
I
investors.
don't even know what the blackjack is because it was not that. It's not me.
part of your culture. Yeah.
And nobody, even my brother.
Yeah.
We so all of a sudden we became part of an empire, which we.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not necessarily
funny,
something
actually.
you would have fallen into.
Yes. So we gave the land in exchange for shares.
Yeah.
And I don't mind saying it. We have 25% of all the Cyprus, for Melco, of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we didn't get any money.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so the casino is a large project opening up in Limassol. Everyone's very excited about this because it's been something on the agenda for decades. I think it's been a hot topic in Cyprus. Yes. Whether there should be a casino, whether there shouldn't. Cypriots, I would say, unfortunately, innately are quite prone to gambling, which has been something that the governments over the years have been worried about, and many authorities, let's say, because, we don't want the people here to lose all of their money or get addicted to things. But on the other hand, they travel abroad anyway. So there's a big emphasis now on responsible gambling with Melco and everything else. There's 500 rooms, is it?
Yes.
The hotel?
500 rooms.
500 room hotel. There's a lot of employment coming out of this. Conference facilities, huge casino. So this whole project is going to be...
Tennis courts with the Mr. What do you call the Baghdadis?
Baghdadis, he's going to do a tennis academy there. Yes. So there's lots of things happening, and it is opening this year. I mean, every year it's said, this year, next year.
Can I interrupt you?
Please.
2.5 years delay.
Okay.
And we were supposed to open 12th. Then we went to 27th of June. And now we are 10th of July.
Okay.
And not all of it.
Yeah.
We have to start.
Yeah.
And the other one will close the temporary. And we will go there on the 10th. Actually, this morning they phoned me and they said, in 3:20, I have a meeting at the...
There. Okay. So watch this space, definitely.
Yes,
for the Limassol Casino. So I think one of the best ways to round up all of this, because, I mean, as you said at the beginning, we could go on for a whole day or days. But let's talk a bit about Carnival. You mentioned at the beginning, you were the king of Carnival just a few years back. Let's tell the listeners who maybe are not used to thinking of Cyprus with Carnival, or people who know that we have a Carnival here, which is second to Rio. Let's tell them a bit about Carnival and what did it mean to you to be king of Carnival?
Okay. My father and my mother and my elder sister, we were all involved with the Carnival. So when I was young, the problem was to buy the cloth. Then who is going to sew the thing? And then other people were arguing, no, we should be the Eskimos, or we should be this, because at that time you couldn't buy them ready.
Yeah, there's no CXC and Amazon.
Now it became very commercial. So automatically, when you see your family doing that, automatically when you grow up, you are doing the same.
Yeah.
And that's why I have been making a lot of floats, and slowly, you don't buy, or you get the appreciation from the municipality and the political, the committee for Limassol. So they choose every year somebody who has done things for the government.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was on the worst economic situation, and they called me the person of the euro and the problem with the banks. So I was the king of the downfall of the economy of Cyprus.
The difficult year when you became, But you know what? You were, was it CNN? Had a massive, beautiful picture, I remember, of you.
It was, and they said, second to Brazil was Limassol,
Yeah, because we had that many floats, and it's such a big deal here. And and I think it's great, and it's something that really is part of our culture, and it gets everyone together.
Right. Yes.
And it's a nice time of year because usually the weather's good.
Farah, is 10 days of craziness.
Yeah.
And you don't care.
Yeah.
There is this 10 days of everybody doesn't care.
Yeah. Well, you can go and sit in a normal restaurant and wear a wig and just have fun, and nobody cares.
But also, you don't have to go to work.
Yeah. Well,
because I was late last night. Yes, I know. But you understand. Because they come to work and they are dead because they've been, before was even better.
I don't want my staff listening to this. We have to work even more than.
I know. But before, we used to have the hotels giving us very good rates.
We do. We still do. Yes. We have packages for Carnival, and we include the dances.
For the dances.
And the dances and everything. It's a big thing. So we love it. So everyone, whoever's listening, make sure you come. It's usually in February. It's a 10-day, just amazing period. So I ask pretty much everyone this who comes on this podcast, if you have a favorite saying or mantra, or could be slogan, or could be piece of advice, or book that you loved reading, something that, would be nice for people.
We didn't speak about the museum.
Oh, yes.
When I stopped competing in the WRC and the high-speed rallies, I turned my passion to classic. Mm-hmm. And today I can say, not because I have nearly 300 classic cars.
It's amazing. It's a beautiful museum.
And not even Turkey or Greece have the same amount. And now I'm thinking, I'm in the process of doing 4 times bigger than what I have now, because we don't have room. We've started to hang like you hang the Christmas, ornaments on the tree. That's how I, So it's becoming successful because the tourists know about it. It took a long time
to establish
and
it.
there is no help from the government.
Yeah.
Even on the VAT, on the ticket, I have to pay VAT.
Yeah. And it's such an asset for Limassol and for Cyprus.
Yes.
Because it
is the one and only.
It's the one and only. It's something that's really interesting. I mean, I've spoken to you before because we have hotels in England and one of them's in Beaulieu and there's the Beaulieu National Motor Museum there, which is just amazing.
Yes.
And I loved going to that as a child. I mean, we used to go some days, some weeks, every weekend and definitely every holiday. And it's so nice here as well. And I brought my kids to see your museum and they loved it. And it would be lovely if you can expand and to offer more things and more interaction.
Yes.
And
I am. It's going to be a very big complex.
Amazing. Oh, watch this space again.
Yes.
Great. I love it. So where can people find out more about all this stuff? I mean, is there a website?
Yes, website is Cyprus Motor Museum.
Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, so back to the saying or mantra or any advice for anyone listening.
Enjoy life while you can. That's my motto, within reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will tell you one thing. After 55, the years come quicker than before. That's what I found.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not ashamed to say I'm 73 or hide I'm 73. I had a very, very nice life. But don't waste your time because after 50, 55, I'm saying it to all.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Enjoy it all the time. Absolutely. Make the most of it.
Yes.
So this is a crystal bowl. Our staff and our team at St. Raphael all get to write a question. They don't know who's going to pick it. And it could be something very simple. It could be sometimes more interesting and personal. And then you can see this bowl is here. I'll read it to you. Don't worry.
No.
Oh, okay. You'll do it. All right. If you can read the writing as well.
What is the best thing about your job and why?
There you go. So what's the best thing about
I love
what you do?
Selling. I can sell, I think, ice cream to the Eskimos, as they say.
Yeah.
And why? It's a satisfaction of achieving a sale.
Yeah. An achievement.
It's an achievement.
Yeah. And a recognizable, a tangible achievement.
Yes, to me, not to other people.
Yeah.
And they are all afraid when I go to sell something. I came to you, if you remember, to ask you to put the casino here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the temporary one. Yeah.
The temporary one. And you had no space.
Yeah. We tried.
Yes,
we couldn't do it. Yeah.
And they said, when I went back and they said, you failed.
Not at all.
Not at all. No, I failed for not, persuading you to.
Yeah.
So, yes. And
well, no, it wasn't that at all.
It wasn't.
We were very much interested in doing it, but we just couldn't manage
it.
There
was not enough space.
If we had a conference room that was 2,000 square meters, we would have said, great, take it. But there were too many specs. It had to be on the entrance level. It had to be,
That's right.
Yes, I remember we looked at it.
Well, I tried.
Yeah. We tried. Exactly. Do you think that, I also love sales and marketing. Do you think that comes from, again, that need for approval, maybe that you didn't get from your parents? So it's like a tangible thing, like I achieved that and I did that on my own.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
It's the achievement, satisfaction, which nobody can give you. You cannot buy it.
Yeah, you have to work and do it. You have to go out and get it.
And another achievement is we have the casino.
Yeah.
That's a big, big achievement. And we found a way to
make it happen.
To make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing. Thank you so much, Dimi. I think we've done so well because there's just so much to cover here, and it's not, you haven't just had one path.
Yes, exactly.
You haven't had one path. It hasn't been like, oh, well, I started this and I did this.
Yes.
There's so many different aspects that make up you. And that's what I love. I love that about this podcast as well, is really, really chatting to people that, I know well, but still I learn different things.
I was going to ask you to tell me what are the subjects.
Yes, but no.
I knew you would say no, and I didn't want to embarrass you for saying no.
You know what?
So
there are some people.
I don't mind.
There are some people that come on this podcast and I say, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about. Or I send them the questions that I potentially might ask. But those are people who I feel maybe are not so used to either public speaking or to interacting or interviews. But with you, you're a people person. And I know that you're also quite an open person, and you're not shy.
Open. I can say the black and white.
Yeah. You'll call it as it is. So I was like, no, I really wanted it to be more authentic and more genuine. So thank you for playing along.
Thank you. And I hope your listeners are going to be enjoying what we spoke.
I'm sure. Thank you, Dimi, and all
the best.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you. We hope that you're enjoying Hotel Talk, and I'd like to remind you guys, please, to click that subscribe button. It helps us more than you may realize, and any likes or comments that you can give us on any platform would be highly appreciated because it helps us get heard and more exposure. Don't forget to hop along to St. Raphael Resorts and Marina's website. Join us on our journey with our Seahorse Club, where you can get exclusive offers and so much more. Or you can email our team directly, quoting Hotel Talk, to receive an exclusive discount on your next stay with us in Limassol, Cyprus. We'll see you all soon, and feedback is more than welcome. Thank you for being part of this journey.